I'll call the order the meeting of the Board of Selectmen for Thursday, March 2nd, 2017. All stand, please. We'll pledge allegiance to the flag all together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Opening comments, Vice Chairman Enzo.
Yeah, I got a couple. First, I would like to say that I was over at the school, not today, but I was at a SPAC meeting the other night. Jeff and I happened to be on that committee. And I have to say that those two guys in that school have really just turned around. They're doing an unbelievable job. The teachers, Kevin Andrews and Tony Pirantosi, the new superintendent, are really doing just a bang-up job, and the place looks great. A lot of excitement down there, so I'm very happy about that. And the second thing I wanted to say is, and I want everybody, I hope people are listening, I got a little antsy, so I called FEMA today in Atlanta, and it's been approved. We haven't got the new maps yet, but everybody knows it's been approved, but the date that's set where the maps will become law is July 7th. So, and I'm gonna have a couple more meetings, because if people notice today in the paper, in the newspaper, there was another legal notice. FEMA has to publish it twice. We published it, now they have to publish it. So if anybody has any more questions, I'll have a couple more meetings and I'll post them where people can come up and ask and talk about it if they wish. That's it. Thank you.
T.
I'm all set, thanks.
My opening comment, I just want to congratulate the Johnson School in celebrating Dr. Seuss Day, 113th birthday, and they had a successful read across America Day with some of the very special guests. Some of the readers were Fire Lieutenant David Doyle, Gene Palumbo, DPW Director Dennis Ball, the librarian Sharon Hux, our new school police officer Keith O'Brien, firefighter Austin Antrim, Naha historian Cleantha Sears, along with some very high-ranking United States Coast Guard. It was a very well attended and a very well done. I want to congratulate on celebrating Dr. Seuss Day. The other thing I want to mention is Northeastern University. There was for some reason, there was a restriction on the high schools that could only apply, Nahant residents could only apply for the Northeastern Scholarship coming out of Nahant, and they had to go to the Swampscott High or St. John's Prep. And those are the two high schools, but we straightened that out, and we talked to Northeastern, and it's for every high school. And, anyone that can apply, if you're listening, you should all apply. Get your resume up to the Board of Selectmen via the town administration, and we'll forward it on to Northeastern. They usually make the decision, and as you know, we've got 2 scholarships this year to be given out, and along with Northeastern giving us $25,000 to Johnson School for the science program, which was very generous of them, and that's the 2nd year in a row. So we're making headway. I'm not really 100% satisfied. I always like more, but we'll be working on that. Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of February 2nd and 23rd, and the 23rd of 2017.
Motion's been made to approve the minutes of February 2nd and 23rd of February 2017. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
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 At this point in the agenda, we have the citizen forum. That's where anyone in the meeting can get up and direct their comments or anything they need to say to the Board of Selectmen. Anyone here would like to say anything? Okay. Next on the agenda is the Nahant Preservation Trust has been nominated for the Essex National Heritage Commission Award. Jeff Musman and his team, members of the NPD, will present to discuss the award. Mr. Attorney Musman.
Thank you.
You want to get up into the... Yes, sir. Or you can sit up here.
Yeah, we'd like to have him up here.
Yeah. You can sit down and...
A little whoopee cushion here.
Yeah.
Thank you. As Richie mentioned, we were notified just recently that the Nahant Preservation Trust has been nominated as a trailblazer in Essex County in the area of historic preservation. It is in recognition of the 20th anniversary of the Essex Heritage National, Heritage Commission, Essex National Heritage Commission, which interestingly coincides with the 20th anniversary of the Nahant Preservation Trust. We will be honored at an event at the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem on April 5th. You all are invited. We'll have a table there. We've been offered a table there. So, purpose of coming to this meeting is both to have let you selectmen know of this, and because indeed, the Nahant Preservation Trust is really nothing more than an extension of the Nahant townspeople and community. So it is something that we all should take great pride in. But also, there is an element of this where townspeople can vote for some higher recognition through something on the internet, and it would be helpful if the town were notified of that and encouraged to vote for the Nahant Preservation Trust. Interestingly, also the Marine Center is nominated in a different category, so people who went online could also support Northeastern's Marine Center here in town. So this is the second time the Nahant Preservation Trust has been honored by Essex National Heritage Commission. In 2006, it received a milestone in historic preservation from Essex National Heritage Commission. And it's the third award we've received in that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts awarded the Nahant Preservation Trust in 2003 a historical commission, the 2003 Massachusetts Historical Commission Preservation Award. So, I think we should all be proud of what we've done. So, thanks. Thank you.
Very good.
Any questions? Well, I can leave then.
Thank you.
Thanks. That was great.
Congratulations to the trust.
We'll have the town administrator's report.
The first item has to do with the Kelly Greens Memorial. The new leaseholder is in the process of making renovations to the building and has discussed the potential of moving the monument or the memorial to some location that's more prominent. And I thought that I'd bring that before the selectmen for discussion on options.
I was chairman of the Keller Memorial, and the size of that rock surprised the committee when it showed up. We had got a smaller plaque for a smaller rock, and someday in my annals I'll tell everyone the reason why or where it came from. It was just it was hysterical event. But that rock is huge, and it's crushed. They're in the process of putting a brand-new sprinkler system in. The water lines are going right in that area, and they want to move it. And I was down there with the town administrator and the superintendent of public works, and I think you had an idea of taking the plaque out of the rock, and then put the plaque on the building. That was a great idea. The superintendent, Dennis Ball, said it would be very difficult to remove that plaque from the rock. Number one. Number two, he says it would be cheaper to move it. And the idea was to move it on the 9th fairway where the sign is now. They're gonna save that sign and put the rock down there. It's like going back, I think you sent out a notice, you saw them, and that's about the size of it. I have no problem with it,
No,
and the committees, most of them are dead, so I mean, I can't check with anybody, so
we had discussed this before and
yeah.
talked about moving it down by the 9th tee.
Well,
And that's about where it is, will be, right?
Well,
A
not
little more towards the road?
well, out near the road, there's a sign down there.
Yeah.
Coming right, we're gonna take the sign out of there and put the rock in there.
Well, there's a sign says Kelly Greens.
Yes, yeah. They're gonna save it, because that's a handmade sign, and put it somewhere up on the 2nd, somewhere. They're gonna preserve that. But I don't know, they want to put it on the 6th, somewhere on the 6th, but I just,
Well, the only,
because the town meeting named that after
Charlie Kelly.
Charlie Kelly, the mayor, so
The only problem I have is it was named after Charlie Kelly, who was,
right.
he was just a great guy and to me, I really don't want to take the sign down that's on the 9th fairway either. I mean, that should stay there. And the one on Spring Road, should stay there. The Kelly Greens. It is Kelly Greens. And they have to understand that. Now, can we get somebody just to look at that plaque to see if we can come off that rock?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, is it,
Sure.
to see if we can take it off and put it on the building, because it is, to me, it's Kelly Greens. And
Oh, yeah,
it was named by the town meeting, and, I mean, if it can't be done, I understand, and we can put the rock down there in the 9th fairway, I guess.
Why don't you get back to us by the 16th, and we'll redo that on the agenda for the 16th? In the meantime, you have the superintendent of public works, take a look at the bronze plaque and see if it can be removed. And, 'cause I like your idea of putting it on the,
Yeah, it could even go on the putting green side, because it's named, I mean, it was named after him.
I would think,
Or even on the front. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I just to the front, left of the, well, the old front door, the
Yeah.
front door to the left, a perfect space.
Yeah.
They could mold it in and, put some molding around it, make it look, I think it's a good idea, but let's have Dennis.
Yeah, let's just see what it will cost.
Okay.
Get somebody to look at that.
Is that
Great.
all right with you, Tim?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let me report.
follow up?
I'll report back on that.
All right.
Yep.
And put it on the agenda for next, okay.
They actually could use the rock on the seawall, help with the seawall, it's big enough,
Big enough.
just roll it down over the seawall. If we can save the plaque.
I'm not sure.
I'm in favor of moving it down also, if,
Oh, yeah, no, whatever
if it's too
Dennis,
expensive.
yeah, whatever Dennis,
So it'd be nice to be driving in and, see the rock too. It's not the end of the world. if
oh,
it's
no, listen, it was, okay,
Moving along, the fire chief is a little engaged right now with another incident, and so he said he's gonna be a little late, so I'm gonna move this issue back, which is the fire department
Okay.
ambulance discussion. So looking at the next item, we have two cover options for the annual town report, one for the front page and one for the back page. I think they're supposed to be somewhat of a surprise, so I thought if you could just take a look at it and let me know if you're comfortable with these two. They occur as you would see them. The first one is the front page, the second one is the back page.
what page, what's that tab under?
3D,
3D, yeah.
further down,
Yeah,
it's way down past,
all right, back to that.
Yeah, it's a little buried there.
look how much it's down.
Thick. Oh, wow. We buried this one. Oh, yeah, no, okay, yep.
Are we yes or no on where they go, front or back, or just that we okay?
If you want to switch, then that's fine.
No.
Yeah,
I
but,
just-
yeah, no, it seems appropriate to do the front, the first one, and the back, the second one, unless you feel differently. And Robert Wilson put together the front one. It's a nice collection. I think it portrays the gentleman.
Yeah,
well.
I have no problem with either one. I mean, they're both, we're honoring two individuals that gave their life to this town of Nahant, as far as
Right.
volunteers,
Yeah.
yeah.
Want to leave it as it is?
I have no
Okay.
problem with
We
it.
don't need a motion or anything, do we?
Nope, just so you're comfortable with it, that's fine. Okay, great.
Absolutely.
We will proceed, and so you'll be surprised when the annual report comes out.
Yep.
Next item, Enzo, I'm going to turn this over to you. It has to do with the Coast Guard housing, the survey results.
Okay. So everybody knows that we had a military housing resident survey, and the results came through as, it was a simple survey that we had come up with to sell them as individual homes with zoning restrictions, and those zoning restrictions would be, have to be, would be gone over by the planning board. Planning board would put those restrictions on them, or sell the property to a developer, or subdivide the parcels with zoning restrictions. So the response came back, it was 469 count to sell them as 12 individual homes. 61 with, to sell to a developer, to develop the property. And then the last one, 80, came in with a response to, do we subdivide to get more parcels out of the property with zoning restrictions to protect the town? That one would be to tear the houses, you'd have to tear the houses down and make the lots, big, a little bit smaller, and you'd get, instead of 12 units, you'd probably get 14 or 15, I'm not sure. Depends how they could subdivide that property. So, the other count was leave as is 7, no to all is 5, open space, park was 4, multiple responses with comments unable to decipher was 43. I read some of them, and multiple yes, no answers, 15, and late responses not counted were 11. The 11 that came in late were for, to sell them as 12 individual homes, so it's pretty clear what, what the survey, the intent was, and it came back as, to sell them as 12 individual units.
T, yeah. Brad?
So, we are going to propose an article that I want to talk about when we get there. That is here is Article 35, to see if the town will vote to authorize the selectmen to take action to dispose of the 4-acre parcel of land and 12 single-family structures located at the corner of Gardner and Castle Roads. Assessors parcel number 12A041, also known as the Coast Guard Housing Project. So that will be our article that we put in. And the people from the town who did the surveys can come up and vote to have this passed.
And T, just to elaborate a little, the articles are intended to give notice to the voter, and then the motion that comes in later gives the specifics. So what this tries to do is just give a general notification to the public. If you would like to change or amend it, that's part of the next discussion, and I welcome your policy direction on that.
Well, I think we want to move it, I'd like to see the Article 35 moved up, possibly after the omnibus, so that it's taken care of right away. I don't want to drag it out. I want to get it done with.
Okay, so Article 9 is the omnibus, Article 10 would be,
I'm missing something here.
I'm missing a page here as well, it seems.
Yeah.
In the copy.
Okay.
Wait a minute,
Well, we can work on that.
Well, hold on. Before you move it, let's discuss the article, okay?
Okay.
Is it written the way you want it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's, well, it's, yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, let's have a vote on that, the way it's written. So, you can get that vote, and then the next vote, I'll ask for a vote to move it. I mean, these are just, these numbers here are just temporary. We can move
Right.
any warrant article any way you wanna put it, all right? So I'll entertain a motion to approve the request to submit the Coast Guard housing warrant as proposed by the Board of Selectmen. Motion,
I will, I'll second that.
well, no,
Well, I'll make the motion.
I second.
motion's been made and motion's been seconded. Now, discussion.
Right, I'm just reading it, I wanna make sure it's written the way we want it.
Oh, is town council not here?
No, but town council's taking a look at this, again, this is intended to be general, the specifics will come later.
Did you give this to the town council already?
Yeah, in the entire packet.
Okay,
And has he commented on it one way or the other?
It says he says they're all appropriate, including that one.
Appropriate written?
Yeah, it's appropriately written. So, again, what we try to do is give notice, and the notice is a specific form, and each of these follow that form.
Would you invite him to the next meeting?
Sure.
Make sure that, I wanna make sure that he reviews each article that's here and he approves it. I wanna make sure they're written. Okay. And then because there's some zoning articles in here too, that there's a whole sequence of events that happens, triggers those, so.
Yeah, council has, we have special counsel and town council who have authored each of those articles. So their wording is specifically in there.
Invite them both, whoever's involved in it, you know.
And we'll
Try not to tell them.
hold back on that vote,
yeah,
as it's worded, till we hear from him. Is that fair enough?
Well, we gotta get these down to the finance committee, so I'd rather, submit something and then have them proofread it, and then I advise the finance committee, these have to be proofwritten, but these are the attention of the Board of Selectmen.
and
Yeah.
if we decide that it's wrong, we can always rescind it and do the vote over again.
And so by the 16th, which is our next meeting, we have to actually authorize the warrant as is, and then you have to sign it, because we have to get it into the annual report, and the printing deadline.
Should we give this warrant article to the Coast Guard Housing, so that, give them, this is what we're doing? Let them know?
No.
Okay?
And then further, if I could go in conjunction with this, Article 32, which is why I would like to see it moved
Okay.
at some point. Article 32 is continuing committees, and in all of the numbers of committees there, we have Military Housing Design and Development Committee continuing. If we're running, if this passes, there's no need for them to continue. So,
The way it's
to have them be voted in and then have people vote us is kind of, it just doesn't fit for me, that it's there. So when we move this and then get to the continuous committee vote, is there a need to keep a Military Housing Design and Development Committee?
I would think because that committee is made up of different representatives from each other committees among the town. I'd keep it in place for the time being until town council advises otherwise. Okay?
I think I would agree with T. It doesn't make sense because it's actually gonna, if it worked, if this passes, then it's gonna go to it would actually go to the planning board, and it would be on them to come up with the answers for us.
It's up to you. I mean, that's fine. Okay. We can do that, whatever you want to do.
So how would you like to?
Let's get the motion, in the current article.
Okay.
Let's vote on that first. So the motion's been made, is a second. Further discussion on the article itself.
On Coast Guard Housing?
Right.
No.
No more discussion? All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimous. Now, I'll entertain a motion. You want to move Article 35 to make it Article 10,
Article 10. Yep.
and then move everything back to that?
Yep, we would adjust the sequence.
Okay. Motion, I'll entertain a motion to do that.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 So, Jeff, you'll move that article behind the omnibus. Correct. And then, on Article 32, you want to take out the Military Housing Design and Development Committee.
Yes.
Motion's been made.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
discussion?
It just doesn't make sense. But if our article fails, they would take over anyway. That's how I look at it. So if we vote,
I'm against taking that committee out, because I think you're still gonna need that committee down the road. You know, and since they're in place, and the town meeting created that committee, I think town meeting would have to take it away. That's my, I'd have to get a legal opinion on that.
well, let's get an opinion, because I say that if the vote goes through for Article now 10, there's no need for that committee, and we become the committee.
Planning board would,
And the planning board gets the sale of the houses, or to put restrictions on it.
You gotta write up the RFP on that whole thing. That all has to be written up. And, lawyers, I mean, it has to be
right.
set out on what, how are you gonna handle, say the 12 units pass at town meeting. Well, who's got first choice? Is it town residents first? Is it a veterans? Is it gonna be given to a veterans, low income?
Be some sort of a lottery, I would think.
Well, I mean, but you're gonna have to discuss that and set that up that way. And
Well-
that how it has to be planned out.
Fine, but that's after it's passed.
Oh, no, I understand.
That's how I look at it.
So what'll happen is,
Those questions are gonna be asked.
Understood, but then we can,
Those questions will be asked on town hall floor.
Right.
How will the 12 units be sold, and to whom? And how do you go to and give those out in a lottery type, format? Is it gonna be one veteran, two veterans, is it low income?
but that's before the cart here.
No, but we've,
What we're trying to do is take action to dispose of the 4-acre parcel of land.
but I'm getting you prepared, T, for town meeting to answer those questions. You gotta answer those questions before you go to town meeting, so that someone gets up and answers that question.
so T, you're right in the fact that it states shall to dispose of. And then when the motion comes along, the motion will read more detail as to what that disposal looks like.
Right.
You have to give input into that motion to the FinCom and planning board. Well, whoever accept the motion. Do you understand?
Yeah. Doesn't matter to me, I'm selling the parcel of land, I've had 480 people tell me they wanted it. So now we're selling it.
Yeah, but to
How
whom?
we sell it is the next step after we get the article passed to sell it.
Well, are you gonna ask that same 489 people how they want it sold?
No, they want it sold as single units.
No, I understand that. You're gonna sell 12 single units. Is that 480 people gonna tell you to whom they should sell it to?
No.
Okay. And what breakdown out of the 12 units gonna be? They're gonna be for low income, veterans, first-time Nahant buyers?
We'll get all that input after we pass this article. These people out
And
there
that'll be
want it
hashed out at
passed.
town meeting floor.
They don't wanna have this big,
What's that?
That can be all hashed out in town meeting for how it's gonna be done, I think. And I think that the planning board will come up with some restrictions and, if it passes, and then we'll just go from there.
yeah.
But I think we should seek town council's advice on the committee. Is that okay with everybody else?
Well, I think we should get town council's, and there's another question that has to be raised. The original proposal for the 30 condominiums and 8 single-family homes is still voted at town meeting, and that vote has to be rescinded.
Well, that's,
So that has to be a warrant article.
yes, that's right.
So we have to rescind that vote before we vote on the 12 single-family.
So we'd actually have to put that article before
Yes.
the Article 10.
That would be 9, and this would be 10. Because right now, the Board of Selectmen have the authorization in the RFP that the original vote for the 30 and 8, 30 condominiums and 8 houses is still on the records and on the books. We've got to rescind that vote and then move on the other one. So I would put that article first. I would make that, what is it, 9, and make this 10?
Yeah.
Or 10 and
It'll
11.
be 10 and 11, yeah.
10 and 11, right.
And I would ask town council and the other lawyers
All right.
for input on all what we're doing here.
Yeah, and these two, I'll definitely speak with Dan.
Well,
Sprague.
because the board, the legal ramification of this whole thing. And
I just don't want it to get, I think, and T would agree, that we don't want it to get so convoluted. I mean, it's been 10 years, and it's gotta get done.
And people want them sold.
no, the survey come back for, absolutely, they want to have 12 units, so, but I think we gotta go by the numbers.
Certainly. So what I'll do is I'll work with council, get you the copy, the modified copy, as soon as possible, and then we'll work to try to perfect it for the 16th for
Yeah.
a vote.
When is the deadline for the FinCom to go to press?
Well, the deadline that we're pursuing is for the annual report, and that's separate. The FinCom report isn't until almost 3 weeks later. So this deadline really has to do with the annual town report.
Give me the date sequence.
So for the annual town report, we try to have that in our hand 2 weeks before the town meeting. And that's what we're striving for.
So 2 weeks before the town meeting, so you talk in the middle of April, April 15th, I'm just gonna suggest, so that has to be printed by April 1st.
Right. So that's why the 16th is important, because we have to go back and forth with the,
So you back up April 1st to March 1st, you got 4 weeks to do all this.
correct.
I'm not sure if I would wait till the 16th, we might have to have a special meeting to get all this done.
Well, we checked with the printer, and we can actually do the annual town report by the 25th. So the 16th is fine.
Okay. Okay. Does everyone, we voted on the article already, approved that, and now we're gonna vote on moving the other article in front of this article, the
Right.
12 units.
We'll leave a spot for Article 10
Yeah. So this will be,
to rescind the vote.
to rescind the vote will be Article 10, and the 11 will be the 12 units. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was 9 and 10, but that's,
Is it 9 and 10? I'm,
It's 10, 11, 9 is the omnibus.
okay,
oh,
10
9
and
was,
11.
yeah, so 10, 11.
So moved.
Motion's been made, second.
I'll
further-
second it.
Further discussion? Second? All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. Now, looking at the warrant itself, you have a warrant before you that's been modified by that vote, but also it has changed by basically 3 additional elements. In the DPW infrastructure capital, which is Article 22, we have added another $50,000 to that, bringing it from 125 to 175, and that's for the Castle, Ward, Fox Hill drainage, and then the Bear Pond pump and dredging. Also, Article 30, which is the CPC article, that has been updated to reflect the last votes of the CPC. So all the articles that you see in here, the sub-articles for 30, are approved by the CPC.
Question?
Sure.
Question, okay.
Oh, yeah, yes, go ahead.
On the Ward Road, Beer Pond, end of Fox Hill Road,
Yep.
it's now going to be Article 23, it's Article 23 in front of us.
Yeah, what I have here, that's Article 22, so I'll move, is it Article 23 here?
So we'll move back, it'll be, yeah.
Okay, yeah, exactly, so I'll adjust it all accordingly.
Yeah.
So, I think basically that we should tell the people down in that area that we have definitely gone way overboard here to make sure that's fixed. I mean, Dennis has been down there, and I know you've been involved. And Dennis has really worked hard, and we're trying to correct Ward Road, Fox Hill Road, and part of Castle Road where there's constant flooding. And those people have been waiting years for things to be done, and there's now an article in here for $175,000 to work on that, plus Mr. Lombard added, doing Bear Pond to help with the flow of the water. That was a good move, Richie.
Well, that's the drainage of the town, and that's, you know, that's,
But Fox Hill Road people should know that.
oh, absolutely, yeah,
Because they still have been asking.
yeah, you know, that's, they've been waiting too long, Fox Hill, Castle.
Right.
And Ward too.
We don't have to vote for this.
No, you'll
No, it's
vote it as a
already-
package.
Well, we've already voted for it, or anyways, to put it in there.
So is this will include the 20,000 that,
No, so the 20 will be in addition to this. What the number is comprised of is there's 75 for the Castle Road area, 50 for the Bear Pond
Okay.
pump, and then another 50 for supplementing the 20,000 we're using from the grant for dredging.
okay, and they've looked at those pumps,
Yep.
and they're not at full capacity.
Exactly. We're going to put a supplemental pump in, but we found that we actually had one we hadn't worked upon, and now it's ready. So
Okay.
that's why we dropped the number. So it's now only 50.
That's good, it's good, they've been, you know, it does flood down there constantly, and those pipes have been broken for, you know, for a long time, and they have to be fixed.
Correct.
Drain right into that ditch, and the whole drainage system's gonna get cleared from Fox Hill, from Ward Road all the way down to the golf course.
Yeah, and Dennis Ball, the DPW director, has been reviewing the kind of Fox Hill Castle Ward area, and he thinks he completely understands where the failures are and where some of the catch basins are not connected to anything. So he's pretty confident that number will do the trick.
The problem with Fox Hill Road and Castle Road and Ward Road, the drainage system originally used to go on Doggy Beach.
Correct.
The point was down by the original pump station, and it was like this. Over the years, Doggy Beach filled in with sand, the pipes got buried, so everything was not drained out and dug out, and to go back to Bear Pond. That's why those ditches have to be cleaned out, and the flow of water, because we could drain and fix the pipes on Castle, Fox Hill, and Ward, but it won't go anywhere unless we do those ditches and then put the pipes in, the drainage, because everything drains toward Kelly Greens.
Right.
Exactly.
So, and so that's why there's so much buildup on Doggy Beach that everything, it's like this. We used to ice skate right from Doggy Beach all the way down to Kelly Greens. I mean, but it was like that, the drainage and everything was drained, you know, but now it's all plugged up. That's why these pipes are jammed and they're not working, because there's no drainage on it. There's no place for the water to go.
And I'm convinced, and I won't be convinced otherwise, that way back when my dad was here and his dad was here and everyone was here who was old and didn't even know how to do a site measurement, they had the water draining into Lynn Harbor, and it worked. I'm convinced of it, and it can happen again.
Well, you know, you can do it. I'm not sure,
I'm
because
convinced it can happen again.
you've gotta see, if you take take some photographs of between Little Nahant and the Coast Guard Station, that's all built up.
Oh, I understood.
And that's the problem, is it's all draining to, we gotta make sure it drains toward Kelly Greens.
Yeah, actually, you're right on, we gotta make sure it drains.
Oh, yeah.
It'll drain.
Some of that water's been sitting there for years.
You can't, it would be very difficult to permit that with, you're gonna talk about going through a coastal dune, you know.
Oh, you dig the dune up and then you put it back.
Doesn't work that way anymore. We have the chairman of the Conservation Commission here tonight.
Oh,
She's over there cringing, I think.
And she's listening.
but
And
she also
planning board.
understands.
No, she knows exactly that area down there. She grew up in that area. Yeah,
That's right.
So again-
okay.
So again, Article 30 is the CPC. Those articles are, as they should be, by vote. Article 32 is a zoning amendment, and this has to do with regulating educational uses in the town of Nahant. And then the last one will be the Coast Guard housing.
Right.
I do need policy direction on if you would like to include anything on the Town Administrator Act. We had talked briefly about that, if yes or no, and I could put something in.
Well, we've got to meet with that committee,
Right.
and we've got to meet with the attorney to rewrite portions of that and get that in. I leave that spot open.
Gonna put a placeholder in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get that done next week, if that's possible.
Sure.
Enzo? Wednesday or Thursday night, what night would be?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh, that's any night.
okay,
I'll coordinate schedules and try to pull something together.
that's fine, yeah.
Okay, great. So, we will bring I'll give you some, modified warrant documents, and then, we'll bring it back to the 16th. Next item is the budget. The budget is developing, the FinCom is reviewing it. If you look in your packet here, I have provided you, round 3, which just tries to help you to understand some of the changes that are occurring. We've, been able to, through either modifying assumptions with real numbers, or through actions that have occurred, like, for instance, the treasurer collector, assistant treasurer collector, and the highway department have open positions. And so when we modify those to the step 1, we have savings. So you can see here that what we've done with those savings is we have added a single health benefit package to the health benefits. We have funded the principal in the debt that was...
Hang on. Have you discussed the health package with the unions? And have they bought into it?
No, what this is it's trying to manage our risk. So it doesn't do anything to the package value or the value to the staff. So we have 2 open positions now, and what we're trying to do is cover those with either a single or a family, so that when somebody takes that position, that
Two open positions where?
we have one as the treasurer collector and then one in the
Right.
DPW.
And we're gonna replace both of them, right?
Correct. But if, right now, they don't have a package associated with them, so we've now modified the benefit budget to allow for a single package for each one of those. And all it does is cover us if they come in and they want benefits.
Does it, and we haven't changed them, the benefits haven't changed?
Nope, the same value. They increase year to year by the Maya number.
Let me ask you this, I see, under capital for the removal of the police cruiser, that's 1 year? Is that borrowing, 16,000?
Yeah, that was the borrowing, so that's what we were saving for,
Okay,
principal and
all right,
interest.
so you're borrowing okay, so we're not, again, I think I don't like the idea of borrowing money for a car, so,
Yeah, so you can see in the reductions, those are the savings, and then
Okay.
the added funds are where we use those savings. So you can see the biggest use of the savings was the debt, funding the principal at 58.2. So this just gives you kind of a tracking mechanism for how the budget changes. The round 2 and round 1, you've already been aware of, and that's part of the packet that you have already.
Okay.
So round 3 just kind of keeps you up to speed. I'll be meeting with the Finance Committee next week, and we'll go through this as well. So that's it for the budget, and as that develops, we'll keep bringing numbers back to you with the input.
Did you give it a salary increase to the part-time employees? Summer help?
What we did is we changed the classification study, so it allows for we have seniors that come back in the summer.
No, I'm not worried about the seniors. I'm worried about the Public Works part-time help in the summer.
Tina and I voted on that.
Did you guys vote on that? I must have been out.
Yeah,
I didn't-
you were out.
Missed that? They got an increase.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
they're making more than us.
Yeah, well, that's
One day, 1 hour, they make more than us.
Yeah, they got a substantial increase, because the backbone of the town. These guys.
So again, I'll be coming back. The next item is the cemetery plot. We've been provided a gift of return of a cemetery plot, and if you're willing to accept it, you have a motion before you.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to accept the gift of a deeded lot, Block B, Lot 94 and a half in Greenlawn Cemetery from William A. Zimmerman of Norfolk, Virginia.
Motion made, second?
We'll second that for discussion.
Discussion.
Yeah, this gentleman wrote to the town clerk, and she's brought this, to us, and this has been going on for a couple of weeks, about a month. We discussed it, and it was nice that he was able to do it, and so I move, I would say that, let her inform him that we've accepted it.
Well, let's
Oh,
vote
okay.
for it. Motion's been made and motion's been seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Does the cemetery committee have more of these plots? Have we got a listing of the extra plots in the cemetery?
We have a listing of all available plots. We also have a list of plots that we need to go through the legal process to pull back.
Right. Have we done that yet?
No, we haven't. That's a complex process.
We had a meeting there the other night, and at the cemetery, and there's several, well, just walking in the side of the Elwood Chapel, there's 3 lots right there. They took a tree down, 4 lots. I don't know, and I don't know how David figures it out, but there's markers there, and he said there's 4 spots right there. And then the road going, that walkway going up there, there's another dozen spots, because the road is in the wrong spot.
Oh, I know.
So there's quite a few spots left. I mean, I think we're gonna be okay for now.
Okay. That's all, that's our question I
Okay.
had. Okay.
The DPW director has requested that there be a surplus designation for a sand salt spreader, and you have a vote before you.
Okay.
I move the Board of Selectmen vote to declare the following surplus per request by Dennis Ball. 1 Tarco Highlander Jr., 1 2-yard spreader.
Motion's been made. Second?
I'll second it.
Motion's been seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. Next, we have the 6th Annual Lynn YMCA 5K Road Race, and that is on May 20th.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the event request by the Lynn YMCA for annual 5K road race, 5/2017 at 9 a.m.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Motion's been seconded. Discussion. What time is this race?
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
This is on a Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that anywhere near Memorial Day?
May 20th?
Is that Memorial Day weekend?
No, that's the 29th.
Right.
Okay, fine. Motion's been made, any other further discussion? All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We also have, again, the 40 Steps Dance Troupe is seeking to use the town hall. It's a great event, and it will be held on 5/24 and 5/25 for rehearsal as well as the performance.
I'll entertain a motion to
I
approve.
move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the use of the Town Hall on May 24th and 25th from 6 to 10 p.m. for the 40 Steps Dance Rehearsal and Performance.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
And I will second it.
Motion's been seconded, discussion. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have a one-day liquor license, the Nahant Veterans Association, and this is for Evacuation Day on 3/17.
Okay, I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve a 1-day liquor license for the Naha Life Saving Station on Friday, March 17th at 5 to 9 p.m.
Second.
Motion's been made, motion's been seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Next.
Each year this time, we look at the field use requests for the various leagues here in town, so you have that list before you. There are various dates on here that they will be using them and which fields they do use. So you have a motion to just generally permit these uses throughout the spring and summer.
Have you put this on a spreadsheet
Yes.
and identify it?
Yeah, the dates are marked out on a calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
No conflicts, right?
No conflicts now.
Okay.
I move the Board of Selectmen vote to authorize the field and park use request attached to this approval for the designated days throughout the spring and summer 2017.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
I will second it for discussion.
Motion's been seconded, further discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The last item I have, the chief isn't here, so this will be the last item. Kathy Famulari has given her intent to retire as of the end of March, and we then have an open position. We have posted for the position and done interviews, and what I would recommend at this time is that Kathy Kugis be elevated to that position, and that she starts as of April 1st.
I move the Board of Selectmen vote to confirm the recommendation of hire for Kathy Kuchas as the treasurer-collector starting April 3rd, 2017.
Motion's been made, and is there a second?
I will second it for discussion.
Discussion.
I'm very happy to see that Kathy's taking the job. She's a perfect fit, I think. So, good luck to her.
For me, Kathy Famulari, thank you for all your service. You've always been pleasant and very nice to us up there. Thank you so much.
Are we gonna have anything for Kathy from Malari?
It's in discussion, so I'll get back to you, yeah.
Before she retires, our last meeting is on the 16th. Maybe we can present something to the board. She's done an excellent job for the many years, a dedicated service to her and to the town. And she's been an excellent treasurer collector.
She certainly has.
Motion's been made, the motion has been seconded. Further, hearing no other discussion, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So we have,
The open position for the assistant
we'll be
treasurer
posted,
will be posted, and you'll, okay, great.
coming back, and hopefully I can come back sometime around the 16th.
That'd be great.
Yep. So we had,
Take advantage of the training.
yes, exactly. So we passed over the fire department, and there was 3 items there that needed action. The chief is preoccupied with an incident, and so what I'll do is I'd like to skip to the ambulance enterprise, and he can come back on the 16th and actually present the other 2. But on the ambulance enterprise, all I'm looking for is that we place an article on the warrant to keep that viable, and we can continue that discussion. If for some reason the selectmen decide that they would like to pass over it, you can pass over it at the meeting. But it keeps it viable if we put the article on.
Has that been presented to the FinCom?
It has been, they have the packet with that in there.
Have they come back with anything? What about the fire unions? Have they reviewed it?
It's been in discussion with the union members.
That's not the question I asked. Have they voted to accept that whole
Enterprise fund?
enterprise fund?
I don't know that. I can speak with the chief.
Well, I was talking to the chief and get a hold of the union. I wanna make sure that whatever we do down there, we vote in, that they're buying in on it before we make any changes.
I'd like to see and I'd like to see the FinCom. First, I understand that he, I hope I didn't interrupt you.
Well, you did, but that's all right, I'll
Okay.
I have the patience.
That was good.
I'd like to see, I know that Chief Feinberg got some information from other communities. I'd like to see what he come up with. I'd like to see what they, how we compared it, whole EMS building. And I would like the FinCom absolutely to be part of this decision and how we do it, how it's done. I know that they've shown some concern, and I want them to be part of it, you know, with this. And I want to make sure that they're aware of it. The other thing is, it needs to work. The enterprise fund has to work. You know, we can't lose money, so, and that's, I think that's their concern. So,
I think the issue comes down to the enterprise as it's structured now tries to pay for the capital and some of the stipends that are associated with
Right.
personnel. The concern is that can we include more of the personnel? What the chief has found is that we have to build our revenues in order to move that personnel over time. And what he's found in dealing with or talking to other communities is they do that over like a 2 to 3 year period. They build their revenues and then slide over the personnel.
so can he get us those results?
Sure.
All right, so that we can, I'd like to look at them. I know the other 2 board members would like to look at them, and I'd like to see the FinCom take a look at them also.
And speaking of the chief. Sorry, chief, we're gonna throw you right in the mix. You're the last item on the agenda.
Beauty. Just sit down right there. We haven't got to you yet, so hang in there.
Okay.
We're discussing the matter, though.
Okay.
I gotta ask my first question. Is there any, no, wait, we're gonna jump into this thing, right?
Yeah,
On the fire thing, right. I gotta ask you the question. Did you launch the drone tonight?
No, sir.
You didn't launch the drone over
No,
the
sir.
cliff? Oh, the car went over the cliff and
No, sir, no need.
I hope anyone get hurt seriously, or?
One party was transported to the Mass General. He's in serious condition right now.
In order to clear that seawall? He cleared the seawall.
He did, as it appears.
And they had to be launched at probably around 70 miles an hour to get out beyond that mound. So we had an accident a few years back, same type. Somebody reported they were racing on the causeway. There's 2 of them. So, it's just a shame. And of course, they had no idea where they were going. I mean, they didn't make that turn. I hope he survives. Okay. Everybody else-
so
now
Chief-
we're on the ambulance enterprise fund.
Okay.
I gotta go back.
So Chief, we were talking about the enterprise fund and that it's currently constructed in such a way that it offsets the cost of the capital and some of the stipends associated with the personnel. But that over time, the rest of the personnel can slide over once we build revenue. And that was your finding in talking to other communities.
Right, the way we currently have it structured, if it's approved, is that the overtime salaries that are paid out when the career firefighters come back on the ambulance calls, that would be paid out of this account. The item that is currently not listed to be paid is the stipend, which is part of their contractual allotment.
And then it covers all the ambulance capital equipment.
Right. That's the only salary line item. It also covers any repairs to the ambulance, supplies, fuel, billing, the EMS, charge for the EMS billing, the ALS services that are provided, the charges for that, any purchase services for EMS training, all included out of that account.
So the only thing that's not included would be the EMT stipend?
EMT stipends, and I recommended keeping that out for the first year just to see how the revenues play out to make sure that it can support covering that also. So if the revenues play out the way we anticipate, we'll look to implement that for the next year.
Yes, in future years.
Correct.
And you think you'll make money?
For the first 6 months of the fiscal year, we brought in almost as much revenue as was brought in the entire previous fiscal year.
Okay, so if you can show us the other communities that you work with, I mean, that you've got the information from, I would be happy, you know, I don't want to vote on it tonight. I don't want to vote on it tonight. And share that with us and perhaps the FinCom.
I believe that's already been forwarded to you, the other communities that I spoke with.
Maybe what we can do is give some greater breakout, because
Right, I want to see,
the selectmen really don't have to take action until the next meeting, which is the 16th, on the warrant itself, so we have time to.
I think we have time. I'd like to see, okay, wait a minute. I'd like to see the FinCom be part of this if the other two selectmen would like to support that.
Well, we can wait till 16.
I still want to see a place on the warrant for this article, though. I still want to see it. I think we can go that far, and we'll talk more on the 16th, because I'm in favor of this, just to let you two know. I'm in favor of this.
Well, I am too, if it's done right.
If you want to go till the next meeting for more discussion, I wholeheartedly agree.
It's included in the warrant now as a draft, and so, what all that does is keeps it active. If something changes, all the article does is generally notify. The motion would have the specifics. So, if you want to modify any of the specifics, you can do so all the way up to the town meeting. If at that time you want to pass over it, you can pass over it and not take any action. So you have all your options open. Great.
Just as a point of note, I'm not meeting with the Finance Committee until the 20th, which is after your next meeting.
Okay.
I'll pass this information along.
Yep.
Yeah, they should probably get a copy of it all. I would like to see them get a copy of all of that stuff before they meet with them.
Yeah, I'm seeing them Tuesday, so I'll bring that with me,
They have a meeting scheduled for Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday.
I'll go to it. I usually go to them anyway.
And then, Chief, while you're here looking at the
Yes.
other two items, you have the EMS billing and the write-off policy.
Correct. As we discussed in our last meeting, I've given you a proposal to change the way we do our EMS billing, putting it into bundled rates instead of what they refer to as à la carte. It streamlines the process, makes for less of a discrepancy between what the insurance company pays for and what the billable amount is.
All the other communities seem to be doing the same thing, right?
That's correct. That is currently the industry standard.
Okay. I don't,
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote
Hold on,
to
hold on,
approve.
hold on.
Discussion?
No, I'm still discussing.
Oh. Well, yeah, we
I thought we're gonna study it and vote on it next, on the 16th. The first question I have, Chief, have you got a buy-in from the union?
The union has not had any discussion on the billing rates.
No, well, that's not what I asked you. Have you sat down and met and gone through with the union representatives on this whole proposal?
I have not. I consider this to be an administrative act.
Being an administrator, I like to get their buy-in on that.
Okay.
The number two question is, I want to make sure that the people that can't afford an ambulance can't afford it, number one. Number two, they're afraid to take an ambulance ride because the cost is getting expensive. And did you know that people get turned down for ambulance ride from the, what do we call it, not Social Security, it's
Medicare?
Medicare. Did you know that? You
Very-
had- Let me finish.
Yep.
You had a figure of 3% for town. But when I went back through to some of the things, I'm trying to get the history of all the ambulance for the last 3 years of people not able to pay for it. You have to understand their Social Security's been cut. Your ambulance fees are getting up there. We've always had the ambulance as part of them paying their real estate taxes. Part of it, you know what I mean? It's always been taken care of that way. We pay for the firemen, but some people in the town, these charges are getting very, very expensive for an ambulance. And I'm afraid some of the seniors will not call 911 or call for an ambulance because they're afraid they can't afford it.
If I may, if somebody is Medicare eligible, even if Medicare denies it, the most that they can be charged is the Medicare allowable amount, which is significantly less than what our billable is. Typically, if Medicare denies the charge, our billing service will appeal the denial and find the cause for that. For emergency services, emergency ambulance services, Medicare will not deny the payment.
Well, hold on. I found an exception to that,
Okay?
okay? And number three in the deal, you know, your procedure for financial hardship.
Yes.
Customer must fill out the financial hardship form. Some of these people are so old, I don't think they could sign their name or fill out these things. We should have someone from your department, an officer, someone that's helped them go to their homes and actually be assigned to fill out the forms for them.
I told you last month I would do that personally if needed.
Okay, you would be assigned to do that.
Yes. We will ensure that if somebody needs assistance in filling out the form, that we will provide that assistance.
Very deeply concerned about the elderly of the town being afraid to call for an ambulance because they can't afford it.
I understand that.
Okay.
Now, since this is discussion, I move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the revised EMS billing rates and implementation of a standardized hardship write-off policy effective 2/1/17 as presented by Chief Feinberg and attached. Now we should do our discussion.
I will second that for discussion.
Well, I'm not, okay,
Can I just say something?
go ahead.
They're getting billed anyway. Everybody gets billed, no matter what. I mean, this hasn't gone away, and the elderly, I understand that. We can make this so that if there's a financial hardship, the Board of Selectmen have to, can vote to waive it, if need be.
Well, I wouldn't want those people to have their names come up in front
They
of
don't have
us
to be.
and have a public meeting. I don't want that.
All right.
I don't think that we need that. But I would like to have the fire department, you know, our officers, we've only got, what, 2 lieutenants, or a captain? No, I don't know, but I'd like to have their input into this. I mean, the management structure and the, you know, this, I understand it's a management decision, but I consider that, you know, we've always worked with our unions, always worked. And I, for one, like to get their buy-in on any policy change or, you know, especially this ambulance thing. I'm deathly afraid of the seniors not calling for an ambulance because they can't afford it. I'm deathly afraid of that. And that just barely, you know, you could see the list. I could see the list, you know, the wellness checks. Those are a perfect example. You could use that list that the police call to check on the elderly to make sure everything's fine. That's the list that I'm looking at, okay? Those are the ones. I just want to make sure that they're not afraid to call, and we can instill in them not to have that fear, okay?
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason that we're trying to implement the standardized write-off form so that it's a very simple process that we will assist them with if necessary, so that they don't have to worry about it if they can't afford it.
Well, and they can't afford to, you know, to fill out those forms. These are big forms to fill out. This hardship, financial hardship.
Is this easier than, doing this, is this easier than the previous method?
There was no previous method.
So what did they do for financial hardship before? They just come to you and ask,
It was all processed through the assistant accountant.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have input into that.
Okay.
He's got a billing, you got a billing company that does the billing, correct?
That's correct.
And if they don't pay, they get letters
They get letters
from those people, and they're located where?
in Cambridge.
In Cambridge. So there's nobody involved
Okay.
that's here. These people are getting letters from Cambridge, and again, they're elderly, and you're scaring them.
Right.
Because here, obtain write-off request from the Nahant Fire Department, contract EMS billing service. Fill out completely the write-off request form. Must request hardship consideration and expenses inability to pay. Patient or responsible party may make alternate payments for arrangements. You know, all attempts the insurance billing are followed through. Attempts for 3 consecutive months to bill patient. I mean, there's a whole list, 11 points that they have to,
Not that they have to, this is for us to follow and for the billing company to follow.
but the billing company, you know, only bills that exceed $100 go to the collection agency. Just the word of a collection agency getting involved with a senior citizen in the town that couldn't pay. Just absolutely, I don't like it.
Who has the last word on this,
On which part of it?
on the billing? If something goes wrong,
It's not him,
and it's not us, it's the billing company.
yeah.
I guess I don't fully understand your question.
Well, in other words, if these people can't pay and they've gone through this whole list of 11 items,
Yep.
we don't have a say in it and you don't have a say in it. It's the billing company.
The town accountant does. The town accountant will review accounts recommended to be written off.
Would be notified.
Okay.
Be notified. But there's no one that we're responsible for, that we have the power over,
Okay.
that we should have control of. If someone calls you, Enzo, says,
I understand. I understand.
we need a name.
But
Now, if
understand,
it's you, I mean, if it's Chief Feinberg, that's fine.
Yep.
Or Jeff.
Right.
I don't mind.
And
But
if you-
we need a name.
if you look at item 7, no account will be forwarded to collection agency without the approval of the fire department.
Yeah, but who?
The only time, that would be me, and the only time that it would go to collections is if there were 3 letters or attempts to contact and 0 response.
Well, upon approval of the fire department. Who's the fire department? You should have your name in there. Fire chief.
We can certainly adjust it to
Fire
that.
chief Feinberg. And your backup, one of your lieutenants is a backup.
I would recommend not putting names in there so that when there are transitions of personnel, you don't have to change the policy.
What do we change it here every week, we have to. Well, what's the big thing?
Okay.
We change it every 2 weeks.
Fire chief or town administrator?
Well, I'd rather have the fire chief, because that's where the responsibility is there, and have a backup to the fire chief, one of your senior lieutenants, or a fireman, I don't care. But the firemen and the fire department, they know who they're transporting. And when you get a list here of, when you get a list, mileage, $32, BLS, what's BLS?
Basic life support.
Basic life, 1,000, 1,205.
That's the base charge for the transport.
1,200. ALS 1, 1950. ALS 2, what's the ALS 1 and what's 2?
ALS 1 and 2 differentiate between how extensive the care is that's provided by the paramedics, and there are certain criteria spelled out by federal regulations.
But I see Nahant
differentiate.
Fire Department come in on a call. Next thing I know, I see 2 ALS, not Nahant Fire ambulance.
Atlantic paramedics.
They come screaming across that causeway. And I think a couple of times I followed them, and I think they went to the nursing home. Then they shut the siren up, scared the hell out of everyone in town, all these ambulances. And then if the fire department is going to a call, who makes the decision on where they go? If
Where
the
the
fire
patient-
department's low in help, they transfer them to the other community, and the price of that ride just went from $1,200 what is it, $3,000?
Those are our costs. Atlantic has their own set of fees.
Yeah, but they're coming in to back you up.
No, but I'm saying if they did the transport, they would charge different fees.
Yeah, but sometimes, okay, there's a decision on it. Someone has to make that decision. Mm-hmm. It's either the Nahant Fire Department, usually they make the decision, but if they're jammed, and they're working overtime, and they just don't feel like going to Union or Salem Hospital, they give them the Atlantic Avenue, right?
No, our ambulance does the transport with the Atlantic paramedics with them.
And does that ambulance go to the station to back them up?
No, both ambulances go to the hospital,
Why would both ambulances, one's empty and one's not full?
because that way the paramedics are then in service with their ambulance at the hospital.
Do they get paid?
By us, they charge us a set fee for an ALS transport.
So you're telling me if we transfer a patient to the Lynn Hospital, the Nahant Fire Department ambulance, and they get charged, and then if the other one, Atlantic, goes with them, you're saying they both go?
Yes.
So both ambulances end up at Salem Hospital?
Yes.
They both get paid?
We get paid by the insurance, and then we pay Atlantic out of that.
It's billed at the ALS
It's
rate.
billed at the ALS rate, depending on the level of care, ALS 1 or ALS 2.
Does the individual patient, do they have to pay for both?
No, they only get one bill, and that's from us, and that's for an ALS transport.
Does that bill involve the Nahant ambulance and the other one?
It covers the services provided by both.
That's not the answer to my question. You're not answering the question.
But I am.
Both ambulances, do you bill both ambulances? Do they both get billed? The Nahant ambulance and the other ambulance? If the other ambulance comes into town, is coming from, where are they coming from?
Lynn.
Lynn.
Typically.
Going to Lynn, come to Nahant, then they go to Salem. Most likely you go to Salem.
Salem or Union.
Okay, well, Salem.
Yep.
So both ambulances go to Salem.
Yes.
So how much does that patient pay
They receive one bill
from you?
from the Nahant Fire Department
Right.
for an ALS level transport, depending on what's utilized, determines the total cost of the bill. That's the only bill that the patient or their insurance would receive. The Nahant Fire Department then receives a bill from Atlantic Ambulance, a single set charge for providing the ALS service.
Okay. This is very, very sorry. Both ambulances are getting paid.
Well, Nahant, this is what they're gonna pay, right here, $19.50
$19.50.
for an ALS transport. The insurance company pays that, or whoever,
Correct.
you know.
Well, the Medicare doesn't pay for all ambulance rides. They've been cutting back on that.
But they can only bill, they can only bill for what Medicare's gonna pay.
Correct.
Because they can't charge them any more than what Medicare.
So if our bill was $1,900, Medicare, we'll say for the sake of argument, their allowable for that would be $450, and
How
that's,
come you don't have a letter from Medicare? You got
I do have the Medicare rates in there,
Okay, but don't you have a letter from them?
saying what?
This is what we're gonna charge for 2017?
No, I have the 2016 rates in here. The 2017, because I submitted this to you back before they put out the 2017
understand,
rates.
but
If
when
you would
you-
like the 2017 rates, I'll be happy to get those for you.
Well, wouldn't you think it'd be wise to get a letter from Medicare to the Nahant Fire Department, and these are gonna be the rates for fiscal year 2017?
They don't send that letter out. It's all listed in the Federal Register.
Okay.
They do not send that letter out.
So when we bill them, that's what they pay. They pay the $476 for the.
400, what do you mean, 400?
ALS 1 is $476.61 in 2016.
Yeah, and the bill was $1,900.
Correct. But if, for whatever reason, they were to deny it, the most the patient would be responsible for is that $476.61.
So the
That's
Medicaid-
required by law.
You're telling me the Medicaid rates they're gonna pay is 400 and what?
76.
476, that's the ALS 1,
Correct.
689 for ALS 2. Right?
Correct.
Well, what is this?
That's what they charge the insurance company, if they have private insurance.
That's the rate that we charge out.
You charge them at $12.05,
Yes,
and Medicaid's only gonna give you $400?
correct,
So there's an $800 difference?
correct, that we are unable to collect on.
Who pays that?
Nobody. It's called a Medicare Allowance, and it's just written out of the receivables.
Before I vote on this, I've asked for a couple times, I want a listing of all the ambulance rides and the billing from last year, so I can see myself. You say the people, there was a 3% charge-off, only 3%. 12% in some areas during different months, but I'm confused between the 3% and the 12%. So, can you give me a listing of all the ambulance, January to December, 12 months, you know, your normal year, and how much was charged and how much was written off? And, okay?
Without names.
I don't know, I don't wanna know names.
Right.
Yeah.
I can give you July 1st. I don't have the records from prior to that. It was all handled out of the accounting office. As of July 1st, I took over tracking that.
Okay, well, does someone have it?
We can check with Lisa and
I
Debbie.
think I have a copy of it. It was Comstar, wasn't it? Debbie had
Comstar.
given me a copy of it, so I can
Okay,
give
can
you
you, yeah, I'd like to get everything put together in a neat package. So when I review things, I'm looking at this and I have all the information in front of me so I can make an intelligent decision. I mean, this is all loose ends. This makes no sense to me. You're gonna charge $1,900 for ambulance ride, right? Mm-hmm. And Medicaid's only gonna pay $400. That confuses me.
It's no different than the hospital charging $5,000 for a procedure, but Medicare only pays
I don't wanna.
$600.
I don't wanna talk about, I don't wanna talk about, see, to me, you're throwing the curveball up there. I'm asking, I'm dealing with the ambulance. And I'd like to get a buy-in from those firemen. They've been here for years, and I'd like to make sure that they have no problem with all this. Because that money we're pulling out of the budget, and down future years, that won't be, it's gonna be convoluted a little bit, and, the future raises for each of those firemen, their EMT status, and anything else comes on, we pay for, what are they called, the kite flyers, we pay how much for that, the kite, for the Go Rescue 8, what do we call it? Rescuing the kite people? Give a stipend for that, you know? But and then you start withdrawing the salaries from the ambulance, because that fire department, the bulk of their calls are for ambulances. We don't have that many fires. I mean, we had somebody go off the cliffs tonight, you know. It was a perfect night for the drone. I would have been impressed. If I was up there, I saw the drone with the lights on it and going on, that would have been perfect.
He actually has the ambulance billing accounting reports in here with the write-offs on page...
Well,
I believe that's from July 1st.
Izzo wanted
That's
to...
from July 1st, right?
We can wait till the 16th, because you wanted
yeah.
to review that, and he
Yeah.
wanted to review this, and wait till the 16th, all right?
That's fine. I mean,
Okay?
and we'll,
So I rescind my motion.
Right.
okay. So we'll
All
wait.
right, we'll get everything
the
together.
16th.
Chief,
Okay?
okay?
And, because we're gonna do the enterprise fund, right?
Do it all together.
On the
Do it
16th,
all together, and hopefully we'll get the FinCom the guidance.
Well. Okay. Anything else?
That's it for
Other than that, Chief, everything else going well?
Very well.
How'd you get the people over the cliff? Do your firemen go down and get them, and
Yes.
police officers?
Yes,
You hand carry those up the stairs, or?
yes.
Is that how they do it?
They hand carried them up the stairs.
Wow, that must have been one tough climb.
Congrats to your firefighter.
Yeah, congratulations to the fire department and the police officers.
Not me, them. I will pass that along.
Yeah, tell them, yeah, that was, to go down to the beach, and thank God they, when I saw the car laying beyond the wall, to clear that slope in the wall, you had to be launched at 70, 80 miles an hour.
Well, they have the state police in doing an investigation, and they'll come up with some answers
Who
on
was
that.
chasing the cars, the state police?
I have no information on that.
Okay, well, I hope they're all right.
Thank you, Chief. That's it for the town administrator report. We have
Okay.
new business.
Okay. New business, none of business. We've got Tom Donahue has resigned from the planning board, and we want to congratulate Tom for serving, number one, for all the years he's given, former superintendent of public works. Bobby Cusack, Community Preservation Committee, again, another one. And these people that, the hot blood of the community, everyone that serves in each committee, including the selectmen, getting paid, I don't think we even getting $1 anymore. But
Can we review that at some point?
you can if you want to
Like
put a
dare?
budget. Well, I wouldn't, it's not the year to bring it up because we're very tight.
So
But you
Richie,
can bring it up. You're chairman next year, no, Enzo's
Enzo
chair,
is,
yeah.
yeah. I believe the selectmen should get $200 a month, $2,400 a year. Carte blanche, for all the work we do.
Okay,
How many hours do you put in? Never mind. It's a lot of hours.
okay, now, let me, just get back.
so Richie, we'll-
Let's send the letters
Exactly.
to Tom Cusack, Bobby Cusack,
And Tom Donahue.
and Tom Denny. They did a great job. And then there was a suggestion that the town volunteers that vote get a parking pass free. That was on the agenda. I don't know, who, was you that suggested that?
No,
no, we received a email from a volunteer.
From a volunteer?
I pay for mine. And I still pay for mine.
Now, on that, just for discussion,
Right, discussion.
discussing, where I'm new, there are many, many people down at Short Beach that brag about the fact they have a sticker, and they're certainly not from Nahant. I would like a full accounting, if we're considering this, I would like a full accounting of every sticker that goes out of Nahant. Whether the Board of Selectmen gives them away, the police gives them away, the fire gives, where they come from. I mean, they're everywhere. And some of them have permanent passes, and these one-day passes, we need a full accounting of that. This either becomes crazy for us, or, like you said last year, because I remember it, Mr. Lombard, everyone gets one,
What do you mean? Everyone gets a free sticker?
free sticker. Well, you mentioned it.
No, I didn't,
Oh, I thought you did.
I didn't bring this up.
No, not this one. But if it becomes such a finagle in time that everybody in town is getting them,
Years ago, yes, it happened.
if you pay taxes, you get a sticker.
Well, I mean, that's,
I don't want that. I'd rather have money coming in, but
well,
there's gotta be a stronghold on these stickers.
we sold the stickers.
Parking permits.
We started selling the stickers, Beach that developed the stickers, to pay for the guns for the police department. Their guns were, I forget what the cost, but that was the initial start of the beach stickers.
Yeah, I remember
And then we moved from the beach sticker, you now have a beach sticker, you can't get a winter parking sticker, so off-beach parking. Then there was stickers given out, okay, to various things in the old days, you know? I still have, to this day, it's in my safe deposit box. God bless his soul, rest his soul, Charlie Kelly's list. Of course, now they've all died, I mean, but he was, but it happened. A lot of people, especially the elderly, get the stickers for their daughters. And the daughters don't live here because they can't afford to live here. But they come to the beach. And that's where all this is, coming from.
Well, I'm not
I
so
mean,
sure
there's-
about that.
There's a lot more than that.
Well, the
I'm not so
passive-
sure about that. I see so many of them everywhere. We need to
Well,
control that.
How many cars do we have registered in the town?
Well, I mean, it's
gotta
always
be-
been done by excise tax, which is ridiculous. And I've brought this up 1,000 times. That needs to be taken care of, because I don't really want to get phone calls in the summertime on a hot day when there's cars all over Spring Road, all over Fox Flash Road, all over the place. I had a car get its bumper ripped off in front of my house, and I had to assemble it for the girl. She was in a hot residence. She couldn't find a parking space down the lot because there was other cars down there that didn't belong there. They give out one-day passes with no dates on them. That has to be dealt with this year. I can tell you right now, I don't want to put up with it. It's
Gotta be a full accounting.
Right. It's
We
gonna be
have to
full
able to
accounting.
know
We're just not gonna give out stickers.
Instead of a
It's not gonna
stack.
happen
If you
anymore.
wanna stop the policy of those one-day passes are at the police station, and they're issued to people that come visit Nahant, and they wanna walk around East Point or something, and they give them a day pass, and they have to return the day pass. There was someone that took a day pass last year, didn't return it, and then they went to the beach a week later, and that car, as those day passes are color-coded, she was tagged and towed to Revere. And she had to pay $400 and some odd dollars to get the car out of the tow truck thing.
Well, we need to,
I mean, but if you want to discontinue that policy,
I'm not saying discontinue the policy of giving out a day pass to a relative that's coming into town. I can tell you that what we used to do was we'd let them take our car to the parking lot if somebody came here.
Well-
And that's, I understand, you know, I can certainly understand. I just don't want it to get out of control.
why don't we do this here? I'll put it on the agenda for the 16th. In the meantime, come up with your own ideas and suggestion. Jeff, why don't you give a counting of how many stickers issued last year, and then how many cars, registered cars are in here? There's 1,300 homes, you figure 2 cars per home, that's 2,600 stickers should be given out, and I don't think they weren't anywhere near that.
How many stickers were given out last year, do you know?
I do not,
I can find out, and I think you're wrong about that, but
But Enzo, Enzo and Richie, you guys, when we're walking down the street to the beach, and someone comes up and says, "You're a selectman, how can a car down there with a Connecticut license plate have a Nahant sticker?" And you go, "I don't know."
Right.
We should know that.
this has been a problem for years, and it needs, and I want to deal with it this year. I want it done.
Well, then the other simple, very solution is take the sticker and have them fill out their registration on the face of the sticker. So the sticker that's issued, 001, is given to license plate 3505, Mass. So you get the sticker one with the registration that's on that plate. I mean,
It's done by excise tax, too, which is,
what do you mean excise tax?
well, if they have an excise tax bill in Nahant, they don't have to be a Nahant resident to get an excise tax bill. They can register the car in Nahant. It happens all the time.
True.
Well, there was also some organizations that were given stickers because they belonged to the organization. You know that. Down at the wharf, I mean, but they paid for
Oh,
the
sure.
sticker.
Yeah, I understand that.
I mean, they belong to.
I mean, the Dory Club, there's some people from out of town, and rightfully, they'll have to have a sticker because they, you know,
Well, they
they're
park
parking
there,
at the
I mean,
wharf, right.
And they've been sailing out of the
Right, I understand that.
longest serving, club in America for sailing, so, I mean, that's always been going on.
But that's a prime example. I'd like to know that.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
And the problem, and the thing is, now me as a resident, and I do it every year, I don't get a free sticker. I send in for my stickers like everybody else, and, the residents. But most of these people that get the other stickers don't pay for it. The residents have to pay, but yet somebody from out of town doesn't have to pay, which makes no sense to me. It just
Well, I
kind of
know.
blows me away.
I know, well, again, you can stop all this, you can, very simple. I know the selectmen, they keep sticker 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
1 for chairman, 2 for the vice chairman, and they usually give it to us, what I've been paying for my
I pay
stickers.
for it, and then all my other cars that, and I never really I use one
Well,
one
you've
car.
got
I don't even think I put a sticker on my car. I just walk to the beach,
You've got
but
7 cars, I mean, you get a,
I might
you
get a
lot of
couple more.
stickers,
Yeah.
All right, so for the 16th.
16th.
Okay, thank
So
you.
we're gonna talk
In the
about
meantime,
that.
would you give us an accounting of that, Jeff? Sure. Okay. The closing announcements.
Can I just
No.
speak on one thing?
No. What do you-
On the town volunteers.
Yep.
Right now, we're at a real crossroad with the Open Space Committee. I don't, we had a wonderful Open Space Committee with Linda Pivacek, Sherry Smith, Sherry Fitch, and all them, and they did, and Diana Brandy, and there was, I'm probably excluding some, but they did a wonderful job, and people don't realize how much work was involved in the open space plan that we need to have every 5 years?
Yes.
Done. We don't get grants if we don't have an open space committee. We don't get grants if we don't have an open space plan. I don't get to enter I do get to enter the CRS, Community Rating System, but I won't get points for it. We are looking for volunteers, and I hope some people come forward, to get on the open space, strictly the open space committee, and it's appointed by the Board of Selectmen. It's a great committee, and I'm hoping we can get some young people to step up and do this for us. We need the volunteers. Nahant's always been good with that, and I'm just hoping that some will come to me, to Jeff, and volunteer for this. The plan has to be done so we can apply for grants. And we've always had volunteers, like I said. We don't really want to have to pay anybody, a consulting firm, to do this. And we have to do it. It's state mandated, and I would appreciate anybody that would like to come forward to give us a hand with this, would be great.
Anything else, T? Okay, I just want a couple closing announcements. The Charles Kelly Scholarship the applications are due by April 7th, and they're available at Nahant or the Selectmen's office. You have copies of that one? The Mass Memories Roadshow is due coming up Saturday, April 1st. If you've got photographs of the history of the town or something you want memories of, please give it to the librarian. Right? The Northeastern Scholarship that we given for next year, you need to get your application from Jeff on Northeastern.
You can go online and it's
Go online.
listed under scholarships.
Would you pass that out and put it on the web so that people know?
Sure, it is on the web. If you go to scholarships, it's listed under that.
Maybe it'd be a good idea for Mary Allen or Mary to list all of the scholarships that are being given out from the town of Naha. There's so many different scholarships, people, and put a listing on them and put the date when they're due in this. I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, they did that last year, and so I'll have them update that
Yeah.
with the dates and then post it on the webpage.
Is we just awarded a $10,000 scholarship to someone in Nahant that's going into St. Mary's in memory of my brothers and my sisters. So we had money.
Nice.
Yeah, that's because I tell you, high school, I forget, it used to be maybe $300 or $400. Now it's 15,000. I think St. John's Prep is well over 20.
Oh, yeah.
This is high school. So.
Some of the academies are 40,000, 45,000, it's high school.
Okay, Helen, did you want us for something? Nope.
The,
Huh? Okay.
wharf,
Woof,
Yes,
yes.
Wharf. We're gonna put the Wharf project on hold because we don't feel the contractor will be completed by April 1st. And that project is just, we just cannot hope and pray that they'll get it done. They're looking for some sheeting to get pounded in there, and it's not gonna happen by April 1. And so what we're gonna do is gonna finish the sidewalls, right?
Correct.
And not dig up the slip until next year, after the summer's over. Because right now, we can't afford to have the lobstermen not be able to launch the boat, or anybody launch their boats in April and May. Because they've gotta get it off the wharf by what, May 15th?
Yeah, and we have an executive session that we'll be talking about the details on this, and then we can talk about it on the 16th.
Yeah, well, I wanna let the public know,
Yeah.
because, you know, so that we ran into a problem.
We didn't run into a problem.
Not us, not the board of
Let
selectmen.
me, let me just say this. This was known since November 11th. I have some questions. And I've been asking this, I wanted Childs to be here tonight, they're not here, I'm not happy about it. He's supposed to be here, I asked for him to be here.
Now, Childs is who?
Childs Engineering, all right?
They were the ones that heading up the contract.
I have been going to that wharf almost every other day for the past 3 weeks, and I'm getting nowhere with those guys. They know I'm on the Board of Selectmen, they don't, I have no faith in them whatsoever. And personally, and we don't need to go into executive session for this, I am telling you, I don't want them back.
We actually do need to go into executive session. We have a license, I mean, a contract on this, and so this is a
They're not gonna-
contract.
And they're not gonna meet their
modification.
contract.
That's what executive session's for.
Okay.
And we have the
They're not gonna meet
DPW,
their contract. I can tell you right now, they're not gonna meet it, so.
we have the DPW director here who's gonna help us walk through that discussion.
I can tell you right now what my vote is, and it's gonna be no. All right, they're not gonna meet it. There's 5 guys in that whole company. They overbid themselves, I don't think they knew what they were doing, and I'm very disappointed that I have been asking for this guy to come up here, from Childs Engineering, and this shouldn't be on Dennis, okay? He's got enough on his plate. This is on the engineer that we hired to do this.
Again, I think we need to do this in executive session.
Well, that's fine, and believe me.
Yeah, but
when-
there's a reason we're in executive session.
Okay, so I'll make the motion to adjourn, and we're gonna go into executive session and not to return.
Wait, before you make the motion, T, do you want to say anything? I mean, okay,
No, I'd wait for executive session.
okay.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion that we go into an executive session, and we will not be coming back to regular session.
So moved.
Motion's been made to go to executive session, not come back to regular session. Second. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Motion's been seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Good night and God bless.
Oh,